Today we've got some massive garage updates for you, and let's start with the GT. And here comes the fun part, actually getting out of it. Okay, all right. So fun fact for you, if you didn't know, because the seat doesn't move at all, you have to move the steering wheel. If you're 6'3" like I am, you have to move the steering wheel every single time to get in and out. By the way, I'm not complaining. I just think it's a fun, nuanced part of this car. But when you're 6'3", oh, it's like an elephant riding a pissant, is what it's like. But I will say, it's one of the most fun vehicles we have ever owned. It's one of the craziest cars we have ever owned. And when it's cleaned up like this, and not like it was when it was dirty just a few days ago, man, this thing absolutely pops. But give you a quick update on the status of this car and what's going on with it. Because at the end of the day, got some massive changes coming as far as the garage is concerned, the vehicles that we've got coming for the channel and things like that. So no, we are not selling this vehicle for anything else that's coming to the garage. This one is staying. You know, I don't drive the vehicle as much as I would like to, but there's a couple of really good reasons. Number one, the vehicle's valuation is insane, and it scares me every single time I drive it that somebody's gonna pop me from behind. And so driving this thing on an open road with no one else out there is amazing. It's the most fun you'll ever have. But driving it with idiots out there on the road, that's what gets me a little bit nervous. And also, there's no blind spot information system. There's no backup sensors on the vehicle. It's a very primitive, raw car. That's also one of the reasons I love it, because as you heard during the intro to this video, with the windows down, you've got your air intake right here. So all you hear when you're getting on it is turbos, and it sounds absolutely amazing. The last update on the GT, we did just get through doing the oil change on it. And a fun fact for you, Ford's recommended oil is going to be the Castrol synthetic Supercar. And through a lot of different sourcing, it looks like they have discontinued the exact oil that they recommend in this car.
You sure about that?
A fun fact for you, the 5W50, which is the full synthetic motorcraft oil, does work, but it does require a specific and unique oil filter. And a fun fact for you, when you get this vehicle up in the air, you'll realize the entire underside is even carbon fiber. So Ford and Multimatic, man, they really killed this car with the attention to detail. Even the underside is over-engineered. And so I love that fact. And not only that, but when you're pulling the belly pan down, there are different link screws, and there's just a whole lot of different, it's just very unique. You don't want just anybody changing the oil in your Ford GT, just in case you happen to have one. You probably already know that. I mean, you could do it yourself, but you just need to make sure you don't mess anything up, because if you let the wrong oil drain out of there, apparently it'll lock up the whole motor. So it's very, very important you don't let Daryl and his other brother Daryl figure out how to change the oil in your Ford GT. The next massive update to the garage is that Ford Motor Company selected us to be a Mustang GTD owner. We are so grateful and honored that Ford chose us, especially after a negative video that we posted recently about the F-150. Once again, Ford, thank you so much for watching our videos, but also thank you for not absolutely getting angry at me when we speak the truth on certain things. But speaking of the truth, that Mustang GTD is a nasty, nasty car. Technologically speaking, I think it would smoke a Ford GT. Now, I know that's gonna trigger some of y'all in the comments, so go ahead and do that. But if you think about it, that car's got a supercharged V8, has a carbon fiber drive shaft, so that way the transaxles in the rear for that perfect 50-50 weight distribution. You know, you've got these cantilever rear suspension system. That car is just an absolute marvel of technology. But it does have me a little bit concerned, and I'll explain to you what I mean. I think the Mustang GTD is mechanically a superior car than this one all day long. And that's a great thing, by the way, because this car is absolutely epic. But the problem with the Mustang GTD is I don't know what the valuations are going to look like. So with the Ford GT, it makes all the sense in the world, because there's a 100% track record of every Ford GT or GT40, because it's the same thing, every single one of those cars has gone up in value, period, end of paragraph. I can't think of an example that that's not the case. But as far as Mustang is concerned, I understand that the Mustang GTD is the supercar. It is not a normal Mustang. But if you take a look at every single Mustang that's ever been produced, whether it's a GT500 KR, King of the Road, you know, whether it's a 2008 model, or you have any other kind of Mustang, they have a history of going down in value, which is not a bad thing because the Mustang is an awesome car just in general. GTD is next level. But what you don't want to run into is, okay, well, if you spend $350,000, which is the MSRP starting at price, so it might end up being $450,000. I don't know. I've not seen any pricing or specs or anything like that. But there's a real chance that the vehicle might go down in value. And if it goes down in value on a $450,000 car, that's very different than it going down in value on a GT500, which is, you know, $100,000. But the one saving grace to the Mustang GTD's valuation long term, I think, is going to rely on the production numbers. I don't know what Ford is going to be producing on these cars. No one's communicated anything to me, but this car is made in partnership with Ford and Multimatic in Canada. And Multimatic, by the way, built this car too, and they built on average about 250 of these a year. And if Ford can reduce and keep that production numbers down around the same number as these, I don't think it's going to matter whether it is a Ford GT or a Mustang GTD. I think that these valuations are going to go up sheerly because of the supply versus the demand. Let's talk about supply versus demand. 6,500 people applied to buy a Ford GT, and they built 1,350 over the course of 6 years, 250 a year. On the Mustang GTD, they had 7,500 applicants, so more people applied for that car. And if they can keep the production numbers anywhere close to what they did with the Ford GT, I think the Mustang GTD is going to be a great vehicle to have in the fleet long term. So the question remains, what kind of colorations, what kind of spec do you think we should do on this car? Keep in mind that there's a couple of colors that have already been seen. You've got the silver one, which was the Halo car. This is the one they debuted to the world about a year ago. Then you've also got this beautiful blue that they debuted at the Goodwood Festival Speed. And then they also have that beautiful red one on the new Carbon Series. And I think a Carbon Series might look good next to another Carbon Series. And now that brings me to my daily driver, my beautiful Bronco Raptor. It's been a while since you guys have seen this vehicle on the channel, so let's go take a look and see what's new. If you're new to the channel, let me give you the quick rundown of my 2023 Bronco Raptor with 13,000 miles, because this is my daily driver. First things first, there's a lot of things going on here. I've got a set of Eibach coil springs that are replacing the springs from the factory live valve suspension system. What that does is that allows for clearance of 40-inch tires. These are 40-inch Nitto trail grapplers. They're 40 by 1350, mounted on a 17-inch wheel from RTR. By the way, we are an RTR dealer, and so if you're wanting anything RTR, hit us up. The link will be down below, or you can give us a call if you want to order an RTR vehicle as well. So we can help you with parts and with service and with actually buying a pre-made RTR vehicle. But speaking of RTR, we've got the front grille for the RTR. I've got a lot of respect for Vaughn and the guys over there. They do some great work. Met him multiple times, and at this point, I would consider him a friend. I don't know if he would, but anyways, he's a great, great person. Up front, we do have a Warren winch, another big partner of ours. And speaking of partner, none of this video is sponsored at all. So I don't want you guys thinking that I'm just pushing things that people pay me to do. Now, some of these parts were donated to us, but then again, I've got that access across the board. And so I only put things on my vehicles that I truly like and truly want. So once again, we've got a Warren front winch up here. We've got the Bronco Nation badge located up front, as well as, if you're looking at this, you're probably wondering, where in the world did I get this Bronco Raptor keychain? That's because I went to the Bronco Raptor off-rodeo in Las Vegas. And if you've got a Bronco Raptor, you absolutely need to go. It's an absolute killer time. We were out there in the middle of Las Vegas, in the middle of the desert, and there were wild horses. I didn't even know that still existed. So crazy, crazy stuff. But anyways, let's kind of move around and let me show you a little bit else what we've got going on. You'll notice that the color of the vehicle, it is black. It has got satin paint protection film all the way around the vehicle. And that satin paint protection film was actually done by my friends over at CGS Vinyl in Pelham, Alabama. Shout out to them. They do great work if you're interested in getting something done. But what I like about this, because this is a paint protection film, I'm actually looking at the vehicle's color. You can see in the door jamb, this is what it looks like from the factory. It's that high gloss black. All this is just a clear paint protection film that takes the shine out of the paint. By the way, this is the exact same paint protection material we have on the Ford GT. That's why it doesn't look very shiny. It's because we wanted to kind of take that shine out of it and make them look like the Batmobile. That's kind of the look there. You might have also noticed you've got the Rock Slide Engineering step sliders, one of my favorite products, because I've got a bunch of kids and they're vertically challenged, especially when you're comparing it to 40-inch tires. And it's also nice that it kind of kicks back up out of the way, and you've got full protection from idiots in the parking lot, or if you're actually rock crawling in the vehicle as well. I've also got a set of Baja Designs front fog lights, the A-pillar lights, which are insanely bright, as well as the backup lights as well. I am a big, big fan of the Baja Designs. Great quality, I've had them for a while, no leaks, no concerns, definitely an A+. And speaking of lights in the rear bumper, take a look at the Fab 4's rear bumper. Once again, one of my favorite companies for bumpers on the market. I decided not to do a Fab 4's front bumper, and that was primarily because the modular bumper is really, really good. I just bought a winch mount plate to mount that Warren winch up front and called it a day. But I absolutely love how beefy this rear bumper is, as well as, when you open this up, take a look at this, take a look at this. You've also got your Factor 55 hook right here, so that way, if I need to go pull a Jeep out of a mud hole, I can do that. I've got the straps. So I've got the straps inside the vehicle, Factor 55 bag, and so that way, no matter what, whether I need to pull them from the front or from the rear, I've got it covered coming and going. The last thing I want to talk about on the outside of this Bronco Raptor is this soft top. This is not a soft top that came with it from the factory. I bought it from a person on Marketplace, but the reason I did is because I got sick of trying to store the panels, make sure the panels didn't get scratched, all of that kind of stuff. And the hardtop can't do this. Hit your two latches, push it up, and then whiff the gas. The latest big update on my Bronco Raptor is the ProCal update from Ford Performance. Dude, I just got this thing installed, and yes, it improved my fuel economy by like 2 miles a gallon, as you can see right there on the screen. But more importantly, it increased my 0 to 60 time significantly. Let's take a look at the before and the after. But more importantly, before I got this tune, I couldn't do a burnout on 40-inch tires. The amount of horsepower and primarily torque that I increased on this Bronco Raptor because of this tune is insane. And by the way, nobody even is paying me to say this, and I paid full price for this. But as I'm concerned, if you're buying a Bronco Raptor, you absolutely need to get this option for you as well. Because at the end of the day, because it's got that Ford Performance branding on it, it actually keeps a 3-year, 36,000-mile warranty as long as you have somebody that is a ASE certified technician or a Ford dealer install it for you. And with that being said, let's talk about the Mustang GTD one more time. Comment down below and let us know exactly how we should spec that car out.